Hi, folks. We are in the closing of the first day, and we need to tell you some important details. Miguel will start over.
As you might have noticed, we have these amazing t-shirts that you can buy from the side. David is also displaying them, one on each shoulder. You should just go to the menu to check them out. And now David will explain a little bit about the sprints and about the Gathertown.
Yeah, we are trying the hard bit, which is organizing the sprints in an online event. Traditionally, DjangoCon has an amazing 2 days of sprints and overall collaboration. In an online event, that's a bit harder. We tried to reserve these 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, for that kind of collaboration. You can find a link for a shared spreadsheet where you can apply for anybody who has the availability and wants to collaborate in projects can share their details there. Anybody who has a project that needs collaboration can also share their details there. We are hoping that the community at all can self-organize around this, and we are here to help in any way that we can. As a second note, we want to invite you to play around in Gathertown. It's our little way of interacting with each other, and that's what will happen next in the social track. Please do acknowledge our sponsors. We wouldn't be here, at least in the same way, without them. It's hard for any sponsor to sponsor an online event. The engaging in the community is really lower than in a traditional event, and I urge all of you to make the best that you can. Talk with them, check what they have to offer. They are here to help, and we need all the help possible for that. We have a good day with the marvelous content. I think everything went pretty smoothly. Here with me, you have all our team that was behind this, trying to make everything work well. Hope that the next 2 days are equally successful, and let's gather in Gathertown. See you tomorrow. Bye.
So we hope you are enjoying yourselves with these amazing talks and workshops that we had for the first day of DjangoCon Europe 2021. And now we'll have a few minutes where we will have the lightning talks. For those that don't know, you can actually submit a lightning talk. We'll post the URL right now on Slack, so you can follow it up. And basically, you just need to record 5 minutes of talk and add your name to these Google Forms, and that's it. You don't need to do anything else, and you'll be displayed here. By the end of the day, we'll do a session just of lightning talks. So today we have 3 lightning talks. The first one is by Jamie, and it's a CI pipeline for Django. After that, we have Sarah, and we'll talk about run Django tests with GitHub Actions, that lightning talk. And finally, it would be by Anders, and the topic is build faster with AOME. Hope you enjoy.
Hi, I'm going to talk about a continuous integration pipeline for Django. The outline of this talk is an introduction, the tech stack I used, the pipeline stages, and a walk through the code. So if I start with the definition of continuous integration as defined by AWS, it's a software development practice where developers regularly merge their code changes into a central repository, after which automated builds and tests are run. So here we expect to build and test our Django application. The tech stack I used includes a boilerplate Django app, GUnicorn, Nginx, Docker, Docker Compose, and GitLab CI. Now, if we consider those stages of the pipeline, we have the build, the test, the review, the release, and deploy. In this talk, I'm just going to focus on the build, test, and review stages. So if we have local code that we push to the feature branch, this will trigger the continuous integration pipeline. And this will lead to the build and the test and the review stages. The build stage would compile your code, but in this case, it would just build the Docker image of the app. The test and review stages will run unit tests in Docker container and launch the app with the new code in a container for review. Now let's take a look at the code on GitLab. And this is the code repo on GitLab. It has feature as the default branch. Now let's open this in a code editor. Let's take a look at the file that is responsible for triggering the continuous integration pipeline, and that is the gitlab-ci.yaml file. This file has the stages that are going to run. So the first stage is the test stage. It runs on this GitLab runner, which I've already configured, and it runs the following script. So it basically runs Docker Compose to spin up the Django testing service. The Django testing service is going to run all the unit tests. Now this happens when code is pushed to the feature branch only. If we take a look at the other stage, which is the review stage, it also runs on the same runner, and it spins up the Django GUnicorn service and the Nginx service, which is going to spin up the app for review from the browser. This also happens when code is pushed to the feature branch. Now the Docker Compose YAML file has all the services that we saw. It has the Django testing service, which runs the pytest command, and then it has the Django GUnicorn service, which runs Django using GUnicorn, and it has the Nginx service that runs an Nginx container that will proxy with the Django service. Now the Nginx and the Django container are going to have the same volume over here, and the Django GUnicorn service has the same Docker file as the Django testing service, which is the Docker file in the current working directory. The Nginx service, on the other hand, has the Docker file in the Nginx folder. If we go back to our GitLab repo and go to the pipelines under CI/CD, you can see here that the pipeline, the latest one, has run, and it had two stages, the test and the review, and both of them passed. That is it for creating a very simple continuous integration pipeline for Django. Find me on Twitter if you have any questions.
Hi, my name is Sarah Bereman. I'm from Paris, France. I use Django for a few years now. I like to improve workflows, and I will show you how to get your Django tests passing through GitHub Actions. GitHub Actions was introduced 2 years ago. You can manage all your workflows directly in GitHub, especially in our case for continuous integration. You can run Python in GitHub Actions, but you can also run Docker services in GitHub Actions. This is very useful and simple to create a database and use it to run our tests. To create the workflow, we need to define the name, test workflow in my example, define on which event the workflow will be triggered. Here it's on each push commit. You can add an event or change this event to another one. There are multiple events you can use. You can find all of them directly in the documentation of GitHub Actions. We have also jobs, which means all the things you want to run in your workflow. You can have multiple jobs, of course, but here I choose to have only one, which is called test. We have also the definition of the runner. Here I choose Ubuntu for my workflow, but you can choose another one listed in the documentation. But you have to know that Docker services only works on Linux distributions. Next, we have the definition of services. I choose to create a PostgreSQL database to run my project with. To do that, we need to define the Docker image, Postgres. we have the list of environment variables needed, such as the user, password, name of the database. We have ports to be exposed from the machine, and options. Here I set an else check to know when Postgres is ready for new connections. As you can see, it's really similar to a Docker Compose file with services. Next, we have the definition of the steps. Here I have 3 steps for my workflow. First one is the setup of Python with GitHub Actions. I choose to set a specific version, but you can choose to set a matrix, which means to run your workflow on multiple versions of Python at the same time, which is very interesting for testing. After that, we have the install of dependencies with pipe. And finally, the run of the project with the run of the test with Python manage.py test. For the workflows, that's it, but we have to change the settings directly in the Django project. So this is the settings of my database corresponding to my example. You can define multiple settings, and if you want to trigger this one only for GitHub Actions, you can do that with hostname or GitHub workflow environment variables. At the end, we have this full workflow, and you're ready to set continuous integration in your project with that, or even to use Docker services with GitHub Actions. That's it for me. You can find the full workflow directly in my GitHub. And if you want to know more about testing with GitHub Actions or Docker services, you can find all of that in the documentation of GitHub Actions. Thank you for listening.
Hi, my name is Anders and I'm going to talk about Iomi. We're going to build a little CRUD app. So I'm going to change to the code here. So first I have 2 models, an artist and an album. Very basic, with a foreign key from the album to the artist. I have some URLs that I haven't really built yet. So there's an index, artists list, albums, create album and edit album. And the views are just empty for now. So they look like this. So we're gonna build something instead. And we're just gonna do, for the artist thing, we're just gonna make a table based on a model, artist, like that. And we're gonna stop that editing. We're gonna go to albums, and we're gonna do the same thing there. Table auto model is album, and then we want to have a little bit more, like we want some kind of create link. So actions create equals action atters href is gonna be create. That's what we want. And then we also want an edit link for the name column. So columns name cell after cell URL. Sorry, it's gonna be based on the row. So we're gonna take the row get absolute URL and then add edit at the end. It's gonna be quick and dirty. Okay, so let the run server restart. So we have the albums here. We're just gonna do the create view, edit that thing, form.create, auto model is an album. Then we're gonna do the edit page, sorry. The edit page. So I've already fetched the instance here, so I can do form.edit auto instance equals instance. I get the edit thing here. And I'd also like to show that you can make a bigger page out of parts. So the index page is gonna be a little bit more complex here. We're gonna do create a my page, which is a page, and it's gonna have edit create. I mean create form.create auto model is artist, and then first table is going to be a table of auto model artist, and then we're going to have another table which is the albums, and I'm going to make the page size 2 so we can see the pagination on both of these. There we go, and then we just do stop editing on that thing, wait for the run server to restart, and then you can see that we have pagination that is independent, sorting is independent, so we can create something, and you're gonna edit. Oh, we should have something with an A in it so we can see it. Maybe what did I do with the sorting? And there we go, that's the thing I created. Yeah, so I hope you find this a bit interesting, and check out Iomi. Thanks.
So once again, thank you for watching the lightning talk. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you had a good time, and I hope also that you got inspired to give your own talk. This is a great opportunity, the lightning talks, to do the first your first talk in a conference. And actually, most of the speakers start this way, so they do first a lightning talk, and then they move on to a bigger normal talk. So don't be shy, and do sign up, because it's going to be a good experience for sure.